Okay, sixth graders, we're back again, and today we're going to be looking at solving percent problems. This should be a fairly quick lesson. Most percent problems are going to follow the same basic formula. They're going to be set up in one of two ways. We have what percent of 24 is 16.5, and 12 is 8% of what number. If you look at this, there's something that they both have in common. Of and is. Of and is. So really, it is all about looking for your keywords of and is. If we look back here, remember of always means multiplication, and is always means equals. And if we use that, then we're just putting in a variable for the part that we're missing. So here, what percent, so we'll say x times, our next part is 24 equals 16.5. Well, if you remember back from when we were solving equations, if we're multiplying to solve, we would divide both sides by the same thing. So I'm going to take 16.5 and I'm going to divide it by 24, and I get 0.6875, which is the decimal. That's what's going to equal x. Well, if we move our decimal point over 2 spots, it'd be 68.75%, or if we rounded to the nearest whole percent, it would be about 69%. So you go ahead and pause the video and try and see if you can figure out the next one on your own. So here we have 12 is equals 8% of what number? Well, remember, percents we're always going to write as a decimal form, so 8% is 0.08 times x, because we don't know what the number is. Once again, I'm going to divide both sides by what I'm multiplying by. So I'm going to take 12 divided by 8/100, and I get an answer of 150 equals x. Okay, so let's try some additional problems out together and then on our own. So what percent of 40 is 25? So what percent x times 40, because of means times, is 25, because we're multiplying by 40. I'm going to divide both sides by 40. X is equal to 0.625, but that's our decimal, so we're going to move our decimal point over 2 spots or multiply it by 100. So 62.5%. Now I want you to go ahead and pause the video and try these next ones out on your own. See if you can set them up. So 15 is equals 25%. 25% as a decimal is 0.25 or 25/100 times x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 25/100, and I get an answer that x equals 60. And since we're looking for a number and not a percent, that's our final answer. 35 is 28% or 28/100 of what number? X. So times x. Divide both sides by 28/100. We get an answer of x equaling 125. Here, what percent of 9? So x times 9 equals 18. Because we're multiplying, we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 9. X is equal to 2. Now in this one, it doesn't become 2%. Remember, this is the decimal form. So we still have to move our decimal point over 2 spots. So our actual answer would be 200%. So the question is how do these types of problems relate to real life? So you can actually figure out how much tax and stuff that you're paying for things by looking at these types of problems. For example, a portable DVD player costs $225 before tax at an appliance warehouse. We want to know, what is the sales tax rate if I paid $243 after tax? on this particular question, because we know how much we paid after tax, we know what we paid before tax, the first thing we want to know is to figure out how much we actually paid in tax. So I'm going to take 243 minus 225 just to figure out how much I was paying in tax, actual dollar amount. So we find out that we paid $18 in tax. So now we want to know, basically, 18 is what percent of 225? Because we want to know that's the tax that we paid, and they're looking for the sales tax, and sales tax is always written as a percent. So if we follow that formula, 18 equals x times 225. So I'm going to divide by 225 because I'm multiplying. So if I do 18 divided by 225, I get 0.08 or 8 hundredths equals x. Move the decimal point over 2 spots. We would pay an 8% sales tax rate. So now why don't you go ahead and try this next one out on your own. Pause the video, try it out, check your answer. So if I bought a t-shirt with a retail price of $12 and paid 99 cents in sales tax, what is the sales tax rate where I bought the t-shirt? Now once again, we have to figure out how much we paid in tax. Well, in this one, we didn't get the final price. They just actually told us what we paid for tax. So 99 cents is what percent of the $12? So 0.99 equals x times 12. I'm going to divide both sides by 12. If we do that, we get x equals 0.0825. We move the decimal point over 2 spots. We end up paying an 8.25% sales tax in that location.